All right, guys, welcome in. Adam Trigger here. It is Monday. It's time for Total Bases. I got on screen and Brian's like, "Are you at the strip club right now?" And I was like, "No, this is the sports book. You can kind of see it behind me. This is where I'll be tonight." So quick promo. If you are in town or feel like driving to town, Turning Stone Resort Casino, Verona, New York. It's central New York. Very easy to get to from just about anywhere in the Northeast. And I will be here at a Bills watch party. But we also, it's Bills. We have 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. So you're going to have the Bills game, which will be the feature, the Commanders Bears, and then we've got 2 baseball games, which we are going to talk about. So the baseball starts at 6 and or 5 p.m. and I will be here all night. So come down. I'll buy you a drink. It is the screen that you see right now really doesn't know justice. It's incredible in here. It really does feel like you're more at a nightclub than a sports book, but it's 360 degrees. There is a million TVs, and there's going to be some good specials tonight. And I'm here, so come hang out with me if you are in the area. But we have some. So, man, we have 2 games to talk about today. But I want to go to you guys for some takeaways from the weekend because I think it's a good lead into the show. I've got one, but I'll let Bryan start, and then we'll go to Tokyo Brandon. Any takeaway from the weekend that you're going to bring into the ALCS NLCS round for you guys?
I'm going to pull a TB, and I'm going to have a little bit of a bitch session, and it has nothing to do with any of us, any of our listeners. It has to do with Kelly. Kelly put out a tweet the other day. She goes, "I tried to watch one of these baseball games. I can't get into it. Baseball sucks. How can, after watching these playoff games, how could anybody say that baseball sucks? This has been tremendous games, whether it's high-scoring games, low-scoring games, whatever you want. You're on the edge of your seat. It's like going to a hockey game. If anybody's ever gone to a hockey game in person, you're on the edge of your seat the entire game. Baseball is that way. She could take her NFL or whatever she likes. I don't know. But come on, Kelly. You're doing it for stubbornness at this point. There's no way you can not like baseball. Love Kelly, but this is a bad decision on her part, and I need to take her to a game one day, and I'll just fly out and take her wherever she wants to go and let her sit there and watch a game that's actually important.
Dude,
go ahead, if we took the baseball cappers at Wager Talk versus the football cappers at Wager Talk, we would destroy them. Baseball is by far the best sport to bet in sports betting and win money. Football is almost impossible to win money. I'm sorry, but baseball is a much better sport to bet. So I'm going to counter Kelly on that point. So when you're sports betting, you have to separate entertainment from making a profit.
TB, we lost you there. I think we lost your mic.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're back.
Now you're gone.
We lost you again.
You need to buy some American equipment on your.
No way. First of all, their equipment. I would say Japanese equipment is better than the stuff.
Yeah, I got you. No.
So while TB fixes his mic, I'm just going to jump in. I knew so Kelly was in Detroit at the home office, and she went to a Tigers-Red Sox game that went like 12 innings, and I think Javi Baez hit a walk-off home run, and I was just like, if that can't get you into baseball, I don't know what will. But Bryan, you teed up the point I wanted to make exactly, and then we'll go to TV once his mic is fixed. I said at the beginning when we started doing the playoff total basis shows, I said, I used to not be as inclined to bet the playoffs because I always thought it was harder to win in the playoffs. And we had kind of talked about that for years. And I think it used to be, but this weekend was a perfect example. I'm sitting there Friday night. I'm watching Tigers Mariners go 15 innings. And I'm watching a bunch of people tweet on social media that I know haven't really watched baseball all season. And I'm seeing memes of like the Blue Jays being excited that this game is going 15 innings. And it's like, there's one meme that's like, you've got two guys boxing and the Blue Jays are just sitting over in the corner chilling, waiting for the game to be over. And then the betting lines come out for game one. And I was like, oh, wow. Like the average person betting the playoffs thinks that that's a big deal, right? Thinks that playing a game after an off day, that 15 innings was a big deal. And I'm sitting there thinking like, that's just that's wrong, right? Like we see games go extra innings all the time during a 162 game season. These teams come out the next day and play no problem. I'm over here like, did they make him walk from Seattle to Toronto? I don't understand why the thought process was that the Mariners were not going to be ready for game one. And then the line comes out and the Blue Jays are getting bet up like this game, like the Mariners are going to have no chance. I'm actually kicking myself that I didn't make that a 5% play yesterday. I made Mariners plus 1.5, a 4% play. And in hindsight, it should have been a 5. That was the best spot of the whole playoffs to jump in and oppose this, like you going back to your point, this very, all of a sudden you're getting some public money, you're getting uninformed money in the market, and the playoffs might be the best time to make money in Major League Baseball. So that's my little mini rant. TB, do we have volume back on your microphone yet? We still don't have.
I will say.
Go ahead, Bryan.
I had to put something for baseball out for my clients. So I put out a free play, and I said the line was too high. I said, but do I really want to bet a team that just went 15 innings? And it wasn't your normal 15 innings, Treg. I will slightly disagree with you on that. This isn't regular season 15 innings. This was every pitch was so key. It's a stressful 15 innings. That's, like they talk about in bringing in relievers. They go, yeah, he had a stressful, 15 pitches yesterday, as opposed to a non-stressful 25 or whatever.
Don't you think, Bryan, that the day off negates a lot of that, though? It wouldn't have been different if it was 24 hours later.
Yeah, it would have been, but because of the situation, and they didn't even leave their city until later on. There were some problems with the aircraft or whatever. So yeah, but I used the favorite as a free play yesterday. I didn't want anything to do with the game for clients, but yeah, I was very impressed by the way Seattle come out and played that game. I think it was more Seattle didn't look good, Toronto looked bad. Toronto should have been more prepared for that game.
Colin Gregory's. Oh, he's back. Go ahead, TB.
Hey,
he's back.
What's up? Baseball by far is a better sport to bet if you're trying to make money rather than football. Football is very difficult to make money. So for entertainment, football's great, but for winning money, baseball's better. So tell Kelly that.
I will say college football is easier to win on the NFL.
Not anymore.
I don't know how.
Not anymore.
Okay.
I think if you're betting the FCS, it is. FBS is basically pro football now.
I have a small rant. I'm getting tired of managers pulling starting pitchers at 60 pitches when they're not in trouble yet. When you leave a pitcher in for 90 pitches regularly in the regular season, and then all of a sudden in the postseason, you pull him at 60 pitches, it makes absolutely no sense. There's no reason to do that. No reason. I think Gaussman was pulled way too early yesterday. I realized there was a guy on first and second with no outs, but you pulled him too early. And as soon as you pulled him out, boom, there goes the game. So, I mean, I'm getting tired of managers making stupid decisions. It's really annoying me, actually. When you leave a guy in for 90 pitches every start in the regular season, why would you pull him at 60 in the playoffs? It just makes no sense. It boggles my mind, honestly.
I would disagree a little bit.
Well, Bryan, I want to
they lost. So obviously I'm right because they lost the game. So.
No, you're not right. That was one spot on your stats. I will say that in the playoffs, every at bat means more. So if you've got a guy who goes through two, he can go through two. You look at his numbers the third time through the order. If he was about to face somebody the third time, that's when you want to pull him. I would not let anybody, unless it's your elite pitchers in baseball, and as good as Gaussman is, I wouldn't consider him an elite pitcher. But that's just my opinion. It's my opinion.
Yeah, but look at the teams that are winning and look how long they leave their pitchers in. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, that's a good point, TB, and I'm going to go to Bryan here, and it'll be our segue into our first game. So I will say just one quick comment because I've got to, I guess, take a little bit of an L here. I have been highly complimentary of AJ Hinch, saying that he's the best manager. I think he did too much in that
big
game.
Mistake. Big mistake. Like two mistakes. Two mistakes.
And, I think he overmanaged, and I think it was the reason the Tigers lost. I gotta
you
say,
gotta let your players win the game. You can't insert yourself in the game. You just can't do it. Let the players
he's
win.
done it as good as anyone, though. But I do think that I do think there was a couple of spots that he would like to have back. I'll go to we'll go to Bryan and we'll start this game. So first game today is game 2, Mariners Blue Jays. Now the Jays are down 1-0 in the series. One thing I will credit Dan Wilson with, and this kind of goes, you've got to be complimentary of this, TB, is the fact that he seems to stick to his guns in terms of like managing the games like he manages the regular season, maybe more so than anyone. Like he's pretty much letting his starting pitcher navigate trouble. It's their start, and then he'll go to the bullpen the same way he would in a game in August. Now, Bryan Leonard, is that because he's got probably as established of a rotation? Mariners probably have more starting pitching than just about anyone. So maybe that's it. But that's something I've noticed with Wilson. Today you've got Logan Gilbert. You're probably going to see that again. He's probably going to go deep again here. How are you looking at Mariners Jays?
Yeah, it's a lot helpful when you've got the best pitchers in baseball on your team.
Yeah,
didn't work for the Mets. The Mets have a really good rotation too. But Brian Wu is now on the roster, and he threw some pitches yesterday in the bullpen. He's now on the roster, so he gives them another starter just as good, or if not better, than the ones that they've been using. I would expect this to possibly be you'd have to think this may be a slight letdown spot for Seattle. It's like traveling with the long distances and the flight affecting you, that kind of thing. So it may be the second day that it happens, but still, you've got Logan Gilbert, and you're getting him as a nice underdog here against Trey Savage. We're getting Toronto in the 135 range, and you're looking at a 7.5 to the over or an 8 to the under. I do want to start off with talking about Trey Savage because his numbers look great. He's got a 3.21 ERA, 4.06 expected. The whip is high at 1.43. And we've talked about how dominant he can be. But when you take a look at it, granted, he's only pitched 14 innings in the majors. There is some things that I'm a little bit worried about. But if you take a look at his exact pitches, he basically throws 3 pitches: the four-seamer, the slider, and the split finger. The split finger has been by far his most effective. His expected WOBA is 200 on a split finger, 409 on the slider, 354 on the four-seamer. And he throws that split finger against lefties 47 pitches in the playoffs since he's been with the team. 47 split fingers versus lefties, 16 versus righties. So the first thing you have to do is take a look at who Toronto is going to throw up there as their lefty batters. And right now their normal lefties are Lucas, Barger, Jimenez, and Varsho. Now, that would mean that chances are Hunter Falefa and David Schneider will be in this game. I think that's a step back. Lucas is a really good hitter. Barger, although he's not playing as well now as he did earlier in the season, he's a downgrade there, but taking him out. Unfortunately, Jimenez hasn't done much, and they rarely take him out. So we'll see what happens. But that would leave Varsho. And I don't think they take Varsho out of the lineup, but those are some bats. That's going to hurt Toronto a little bit by making that change. But still, Savage has been a guy who's had a lot of success, but a lot of people are thinking he is the way to bet this game. I'm not sure he is. The way the Seattle team's playing with Gilbert. Gilbert, the last 2 seasons, despite ERAs at 3.23 last year and 3.44 this year, he's got a 15-18 record. It's the mini Skeens for Pittsburgh, but he's been terrific. Comes in with a 3.02 expected ERA, 3.44 ERA, and a 1.03 WHIP. But this average exit velocity, and he's in the 10th percentile, barrel rate 45th percentile, hard hit rate 40. So you got 2 guys that can actually be hit a little bit here. Now the line, as I said, 7.5 to the over. I kind of think there's going to be some runs in this game. You've got really good hitters, Toronto and Seattle. Both teams have played very well. Seattle's been great on the road for their hitting. Toronto at home's been very good. And we're getting that total at 7.5 to the 20. That's the way I would play this. I would play the game over if I had to play it. And yeah, we'll see what you guys have to say about that.
Yeah, for the most part, I would agree with that. Let me point out something to actually back that up. At first glance, I told you in the last show, like when I'm doing my capping, what I do is I look at the matchups. I kind of get an image in my head of what I think the line should be and where I think everything will fall in. Maybe project a score in my head. And then I go into the numbers and see if the numbers back up my original instinct. I looked at these numbers and I thought, you've got a trusted veteran in Gilbert against a rookie in Savage who has very little experience and a high whip, like Bryan said. I thought, wow, Seattle should be favored in this one. And then I look and it's the Jays minus 130 or 120. It kind of surprised me, but then I dug a little deeper and I understand why now. If you look at Gilbert, this is one of his best seasons ever. I think he's pitching a little over his head this season, and his numbers against these batters, not real good. He's got a 309 batting average against in 94 at bats and an 886 OPS. And I've always said 750 is around the Mendoza line. Who's getting to him? Vladdy, 6 for 15. Kinner Fafela, or however he says his name, 5 for 15. Kirk, the little caveman midget guy, 4 for 12. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this team that can get to him. And I think Toronto, we're going to see some runs here. I agree with Bryan. I think we'll see some runs from Toronto. There is something to be said between being a veteran and being a younger guy, because the younger guys, the pressure does get to them sometimes. They're not used to high pressure situations, where a guy like Gilbert might be a little more used to a pressure situation. However, I think I've seen this many times, and I can't really think of a concrete formula to express this. But when you expect a team to be tired, sometimes they come out in game one and just explode, and then the what's the word I'm looking for? The tiredness. What's the word I'm looking for? Fatigue. The fatigue comes out, I think in Japanese sometimes. The fatigue comes out in game two. And I think we might see a little fatigue here from Seattle. They've played 24 innings in 4 days. So if the fatigue is going to come out, it didn't come out yesterday, but I think it's going to show up eventually. And this could be the game. That's just how I see it.
TB, before I get into my breakdown, do you also think that not only fatigue, but maybe is there an exhale that's possible here? Not only are they a little bit tired, but they had to go there saying, hey, if we can get one, we're in business. They get the first one. Would you be worried about that? Like maybe it's like now we get to exhale finally from Friday night.
Sometimes especially if you're going to play 2 games on the road and you take the first one, you've got a split already. They're going to play 3 though here, aren't they? Or are they playing 2? So
2, 3, 2.
Yeah.
I think
if it's 2,
right?
Yeah, it's 2, 3, 2, I believe. Is that right, Bryan?
I will check our page.
You're our baseball encyclopedia.
The odds logic page.
Only the NBA went to that 2-2-1-1-1 deal.
Okay, so
Major
David's
Baseball
saying in the
keeps it
comments,
real.
our commenters are the smartest audience in all of Wager Talk, and they're saying 3-2-3. So they've got a split already on the road. So yeah, I do believe in an exhale.
I had to get my thought back to this. Last night I'm in a Discord trying to explain the KBO playoffs to someone, and it's like I'm realizing I'm typing out a whole paragraph because they do
like a pyramid, right? And you beat him, you go up, you beat him, you go up, and every time
is kind of cool. I like,
and every team, every
it.
time the top team has a 1-0 advantage before it starts.
No, I think it's a great format, and then your best team, your winner, goes straight to their version of the World Series. I think that's great. Back to this game. So a couple thoughts here, and I'm going to kind of throw out. So first thought was when I saw the line, this game's priced like yesterday's game should have been priced, in my opinion. I think the books have corrected the overstatement from the first game. Now, I do agree with Bryan. I still think even at this number, there's still a little Mariners value in there, but it's not so pronounced, in my opinion, like yesterday, where I'm likely to play it. Now, a couple things that caught my eye. Logan Gilbert's outs prop, most places is like 15 or 14.5. I think some of the sites that have it up right now are juiced 14.5, which says that they don't think he's going to go 5 innings. Which if he goes 5 and you have the over 14.5, you've hit your bet. I would disagree with that. I'm just going to go back to how Dan Wilson has managed this whole playoffs. He's putting his starter out there, and it's their start. Now, I understand he came in and threw 34 pitches, and they were, as Bryan was pointing out, they weren't your typical. It's not the same as throwing 34 pitches in the side session on your throw day, right? Like he was in throwing 34 high leverage pitches in Game 5 of the ALDS. But I still don't think it's going to it's going to deter Dan Wilson from keeping Logan Gilbert in this game if he's throwing the ball well. Now, maybe he doesn't go 7 innings, but I certainly think 5 is the target. Like if you're Dan Wilson, you're looking at this game. I think 5 from Gilbert would be like almost like the minimum that he would like. The only way he's coming out before that is if he gets into so much trouble that they feel like they have to take him out. Whereas if he like doesn't have it, but some of these guys too, like I don't think the short rest is super like we saw Bryce Miller on a day of short rest and he looked as good as he's looked all season. So I wouldn't read too much into that. I think the books have made a little bit of an over adjustment there to think that you should be like, they're basically saying, okay, Gilbert goes 5 and you cash. He doesn't go 5 and you don't cash. I got to like the over 14.5 outs for Gilbert because it's still your ace, Logan Gilbert. He's still your ace. 1, 2, I don't know how much you can really count on Bryan Woo. I think you might see him out of the bullpen. I don't know if you're going to see him start a game in this series. And 3, I'm just watching how Dan Wilson manages games and saying he's only going to his pen if he's in trouble. So I think that over 14.5 outs is a good bet. As far as the Savage is concerned here, I actually don't mind this matchup for him because the Mariners, they still are a team that I think sort of waits for the long ball a little bit. They don't really string hits together. I'm not saying that they can't have patient at bats. If you Savage is wild, they'll draw a walk or 2. But it's unlikely that they're just going to be taking him deep left and right. And I agree with you, Tokyo Brandon. That split finger is as unhittable of a pitch as there is.
Split
in
change
the
is what he
right
calls
now.
it. Calls it
so
a
that's
split
what,
change. Man, that's
it's
unhittable.
nasty. And to go to David Edgington in the chat, I kind of answered his question. I meant to pull it up on the screen. I think it's his start. I think it's his normal start. Most of Gilbert's starts, he's gone 5-6 innings. And even though he's been maybe not as economical with his pitches, he's running a lot of counts like full lately. He seems to make the pitch, doesn't really walk many guys. He'll get in a 3-2 and then he'll throw something that you can't lay off of. And the Jays will swing the bat. I mean, they will come out and swing a little bit. And I think they could be inclined to swing a little bit more after really doing nothing offensively last night after the Springer home run. So that would be my play for this game. I'll go Gilbert over 14.5 outs. It's currently minus 140 a lot of places. I think that is a good bet. Bryan Leonard,
one thing about
Savage,
if I may, check in the first inning if he's locating that split change, because if he's locating it, he could easily go 5 innings here. I don't see why they would pull him out. He's a young guy. And like Adam said in previous shows, in the minor leagues, he was going like 6-7 innings regularly, right? So he can take the weight on his shoulders if he's locating that pitch. If you see him walking guys in the first inning and he's not, and his command's not there, look for an early hook, because I don't think they're going to wait for him to explode.
I do think, if I remember correctly, Gilbert has gone like 6 or 8 starts without walking more than one guy in a game. Do they have his walk prop up there right now?
Well, Bryan, I'll let TB look for it. He's good at finding the walk props. I'm going to let him look for that. That's interesting because he has gotten himself into an incredible number of 3-2 counts without walking guys. So do you think with the magnitude of this game and the fact that it's the Blue Jays, a very good lineup 1-9, that maybe the walks over would it be walks over you look at? Because so many of those counts are 3-2. Are you thinking his command is just that good? I mean, when Logan Gilbert's on, he is an ace. I mean, he would be in the Cy Young conversation if he wasn't injured earlier this year. So I'm curious to see how you're looking at that.
No, I would look towards the walks under. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. Out of his last 8 games, he's averaging 1 walk. He did walk 2 batters against Cleveland, a team that does take a lot of pitches. So yeah, I would look for it to go under because he's going to want to stay in this game as long as he possibly can. And he's got the stuff. I mean, if you take a look at his chase rate, 76 percentile. He can strike you out. His walk rate doesn't walk any better. So he's the guy that can get out of there. There's some of these other guys that they have to come into the strike zone. I don't trust him in that situation. But with the chase rate that he has and his strikeout rates, I'm not concerned if he has to go throw one right down the middle. And there was actually an article put out the other day that throwing the ball right down the middle is the best way to get people out because nobody's ever expecting it.
So I see his so his walks prop right now is a juiced under 1.5, and that tells me the books do not think he's going to be in this game for his full allotment of pitches, which I actually disagree with. So that's really interesting because if you subscribe to the theory that Gilbert pitched 2 innings on Friday, maybe he's not going as deep as he typically would, then I think your walks prop suddenly has some legs, right? Because if he's only in there for 3-4 innings, I think he's going to go at least 5, but if he's only in there for 3-4 innings, you have to like having a walk to work with.
What's the juice on that?
148.
Yeah, like 150, it looks like.
You're right, Bryan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starts. He's walked 1 or less.
And B-Rad, I know what site you're looking at, and there is a minus 195 out there, but I do think you could probably these props, you got to shop around. I think you can probably do better than that. All right, good discussion on that one. Let's head to the National League. The Brewers end up getting it done in Game 5, and we get the series that, I don't know. I feel like this is the series that most thought it would be, at least going into the NLDS round. I don't think there's a surprise here. Dodgers, I think, have been the best team in the playoffs thus far. Brewers were the best team this season. Tokyo Brandon will be invited to the parade in Milwaukee when they win. He turned their season around with one comment. Turn their season around. We're headed to Milwaukee here. It's Dodgers-Brewers Game 1. Kick us off, Bryan Leonard. How are you looking at this series?
Okay. Do we know who's going to start for Milwaukee?
I heard Priester.
I'm sitting undecided at this point. It's going to be more of a bullpen game anyway.
It's going to be either Priester or
the veteran. The veteran.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peralta.
No.
Quintana.
He's got a Hispanic name. What's his name?
I think Quintana comes out here. He's a veteran.
So I'm just quickly, one of the beat writers for the Brewers said you're probably looking at an opener, Quintana, and Priester as like the plan for the first 6 to 7 innings of the game.
Okay. That makes sense.
So do what you will with that. Okay,
I think that's a pretty good combination. All right, we're looking at Snell right here, the lefty, against the basically the Milwaukee Brewers' entire team. We've got the Dodgers about a 148 favorite here, 7.5 to the total. And I'm with you, TB. I wanted Milwaukee to make it. Being from Cleveland, I've always been an underdog kind of guy. I'm very happy with whoever comes out of the American League. Seattle and Toronto haven't been there in a while. And Milwaukee is a team that's a lot of fun to watch. But that said, if you go back to before the playoffs started, both TB and I agree, or excuse me, Trig and I agreed that the Dodgers were the team to beat, and I still think they are. Snell's on the mound. Snell's the guy that he will walk a few batters, but he walks them when they don't need to be walked, or he needs to just get them out of the way and go to the next guy. It's been very good in that regard. And if you take a look at what the Dodgers have done in this with Snell on the mound, he's been very impressive this year. He's had injury problems the last few years, which really hurts. He only had 11 starts this year after only 20 last year, but they've been good starts. 2.35 ERA, 1.26 WHIP. His expected ERA 3.20. Everything is clearly in the red on his StatCast page, except for, like I said, the walk percentage, 18%. He throws the four-seamer 44% of the time. Being a lefty, he's 2 miles an hour better than a traditional lefty in that regard. Throws 4 pitches. Can't dislike Blake Snell, and the way this bullpen is playing right now, this is something that it's going to be tough to beat, regardless of who pitches for Milwaukee. I like that setup. If they bring in the guy to go the first inning and then come in with the veteran, and then Priester, who's having a terrific year that I believe finally suffered a loss in one of his starts. So, but they've been very good all season long. Do I want to play under 7.5 here? if I take a look at the park factors today, we're looking at Toronto's at basically minus 3% on the runs. And in here, Milwaukee minus 8% on the runs. I would look to the under. I think this is going to be a really good pitching matchup here. And while I like the over in the first game, I kind of like the under in this one.
Can't really argue with that. If you look at Snell's numbers against the Brewers, I know it's a small sample size, only 33 at bats, but wow, a 152 average against and a 475 OPS. Pretty amazing stuff. The problem is, like Bryan said, he does walk guys. He's got 5 walks. He's averaging that comes out to maybe about 3 walks per start. So you can expect him to walk maybe 2 guys here, maybe 3 guys. But he has gotten out of trouble when he's putting guys on base, especially against these guys. He's dominated them. So one other stat that kind of contradicts that is Snell on the road has like a 4.7 ERA. So which comes up bigger here? I always like the head-to-head matchups. I think it matters how he goes against these guys, because I look at baseball as kind of a one-on-one matchup, pitcher against batter. In most cases, obviously, you have fielding and errors and all kinds of stuff like that. Ask the New York Yankees. But I think the under would be a way to go here, or take whoever the underdog is and give them plus runs here, because I think we're looking at a tight game. The Brewers, the Dodgers hit almost 100 more home runs than the Brewers, but the Brewers have more hits than the Dodgers. So it means the Brewers manufacture their runs and the Dodgers crank their runs out. Hard to take an under with this Dodgers lineup, but if there's any way to go, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think the books got the pricing right on these 2 games, which is not going to be uncommon in the playoffs. I think we've kind of talked about that the entire time with the playoffs here. Very rarely are you going to see a scenario like game 1 where, at least for me, I thought that number was way off, and I thought it was because game 1 of the Mariners Blue Jays, which I thought was because of how the betting public was betting it. These 2 are much more in line with where I would have priced the game. So I'm not really seeing any like line value in the full game side or total. I do think the Dodgers should be favored here. I'll go back to what Bryan was saying. I think they're the best team, and getting Will Smith back in the playoffs is huge. I think they're going to be the team to beat. Now, the Brewers certainly could do it. I think if I was going to bet the Brewers here, I think I would look at the first 5. The reason for that is I think if you're going to get Snell, you typically have to get him early. The only real issue I have with Snell ever is he'll maybe walk a guy or 2. And it seems like if he's going to give up a big hit, it's typically early in the game before he settles in. Almost any time I've watched Blake Snell pitch this year, once you allow him to sort of find his groove, he's very tough to break through on. So right now, you can get Brewers plus a half run, minus 115 or minus 120 a lot of places for the first 5. I'm with Bryan. I don't mind the setup early in this game from Milwaukee. If you're going to get potentially, I would have to think they'd like to use Ashby or like one of those openers, to try to go after Freeman, Ohtani at the top. A lot of teams like to use that lefty opener against the Dodgers, because it just gives them a better chance to get Ohtani and Freeman out that first time through the order. So if I'm Pat Murphy, I think I'm going to have Ashby open this game, and then I'll probably go Priester, and then I'll probably have Quintana in my back pocket for if a spot comes up where I feel like I need to go and have another lefty come into the game. Again, I'm not saying that's definitely how it's going to go. He very well could go Quintana to start here, because he's a veteran guy, and he'll still get the matchup that he wants. Maybe he lets Quintana go 3 or 4, goes to a bullpen guy, goes to Priester, and then uses Ashby later in the game. I'm really not sure. I don't think anyone is sure at what he's going to do. But the point is, I think there's ways for the Brewers to mix and match to even this up early. And then if the Brewers, a team that is scrappy, that can draw their walks and stuff, that can steal bases, that's the other thing. Snell, you can get him with a walk or 2 early. Milwaukee's got a ton of team speed. And I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to maybe scrape one across early, manufacture one, steal a base, steal third. Turang loves to try to steal third if he can get the chance to do it. And then if you're sitting there 1-0 and it's a tight game, I think you've got a pretty good bet with that Brewers first 5. So I think if the most bettable thing in this is probably Brewers first 5. I like the half run. Go ahead, Brian.
To me, the biggest key that not a lot of people have talked about in this is the Brewers like to run. The Brewers have a lot of speed. Who is the catcher for the Dodgers? If it's Smith, you don't run on Smith. Smith is got a gun. That's going to change the entire trajectory of this series. Now, if Smith happens to be DHing, Milwaukee will run like crazy. So pay attention to when the lineups come out. Who's going to be the catcher?
Their last game, Smith picked off a guy at second. Man, he threw it right on. Awesome. It was a laser. Guy's got a great arm. Yeah, amazing. One thing about Ohtani, he's one for 13 or maybe even worse now. He's ice cold in the playoffs, so he's doing his best A-Rod impression in the playoffs. We'll see. I can't say Judge anymore because Judge just cranked the ball this year in the playoffs for his first time in his career. But Ohtani's ice cold, so he's going to break out here or not? I kind of think he's not. But then again, when I badmouth people, look where the Brewers are now. So we'll see. But someone in the comments said that Ohtani's hits, runs, RBIs prop was 2.5. I don't see him getting 3 hits, runs, RBIs, but I mean, that might be a good under for that one if we're thinking that the whole game's going to be an under, and Ohtani's ice cold right now.
Don Dixon, he says Milwaukee went 3-0 versus LA this year. They actually went 6-0. They actually beat the Dodgers all 6 times, and it was within the span of a week or so. It was that stretch before the All-Star break and then coming out of the All-Star break where the Dodgers looked very uninterested. And now I would say that they're interested. So go back around the horn. Brian, do you put any stock into those 6 regular season meetings?
Oh, you have to.
I don't. Not in this case. Not because of the Dodgers. The Dodgers, as we've said all year long, they win the games they come in to play for, and they're so good they could set games out. A lot of times it does have some meaning. In this one, I totally no, there is no meaning in it. Milwaukee was the team playing the champions. They wanted to. They're the team that was having the season where they wanted to show me season. It was much more important for them during the regular season. Now the Dodgers know that if they lose, they're out of the playoffs. It's a totally different ballgame.
On the one hand, it shows me that they're capable of beating this team. Number one. On the other hand, the Dodgers did not have Sasaki pitching, closing games, and they didn't have Will Smith at the time either. Or did they? I think he was out at that time. Yeah. So couple factors there, but if you can beat a team 6 games in a row, I don't think you can ignore that. So I think it shows that they're capable of winning. So it mentally it'll give them a little bit of confidence, I think, but maybe not. Maybe no factor on the outcome, but.
I mean, I don't think why would the Brewers feel like they're not capable of winning? They were basically the best team in the National League all year, 1. And then 2, someone in the chat says Will Smith's been listen, Will Smith's going to start. That's a guarantee. The only thing we're talking about is whether he's going to start at DH or behind the plate, because coming off injury, they're not going to start him every single game behind the plate. And of course, this would be where you'd have to maybe make a decision because they got to play tomorrow as well. I'm with you, Brian. If Will Smith is at the DH spot and he's not behind the plate, that is a huge advantage for Milwaukee because they can definitely run on Rortvedt or whoever would be. I don't know who they're going to have back there, but it would be much more likely they can run, and that might be the path to scraping a run across off Snell. So will be interesting to see how the Dodgers line up in this game, but Smith will definitely be in the lineup.
And Milwaukee is a small ball team, and they have one elite base stealer, and they have several decent ones, but they're masters at manufacturing runs. So Will Smith would be a huge difference on his defense. That man, he's got a laser arm. That was amazing, that throw he made.
David said Milwaukee looked vulnerable against the Cubs. Like, I feel like we're not giving the Cubs enough credit. I mean, the Cubs were a very, very good team this year. Those are 2 division rivals. Like the series
more wins than the Dodgers.
Games.
More wins than the Dodgers.
I don't know why anyone would be surprised that was a competitive series that really like went both ways. So again, maybe the Brewers are a little undervalued just in general. I think the Brewers are a really good baseball team. Like I'm with you on the thought process that the Dodgers are probably the best team of the 4 that are still left, but let's not sleep on the Brewers here. This is a very capable team, arguably as complete of a offense as you're going to find, where they'll hit the ball out of the ballpark, they'll steal bases, they'll play small ball. It should be a very competitive game. I don't. Kind of tough. I think you can make a very good case for both sides here. I really do.
The Dodgers are not
Bryan.
overrated, by the way.
No, the Dodgers being a 2-1 favorite to win the series, even though Milwaukee has the home advantage, tells you the Dodgers are the best team here. TB did not do any promotions when we started, so I want to do a promotion. I don't know. I think today's a special day in Canada. I don't know. I don't remember what it is.
Isn't it their Thanksgiving? Is it Canadian
could be their
Thanksgiving?
Because they have some holidays we don't have in the United States, so I don't know that much about it. But Canada is hockey, and there are hockey games starting in less than 3 hours, going all day long. If you're a hockey fan, great day to be watching hockey. I put out a 5% play in the NHL today, my first 5% of the season, and I'm number 1 all time in NHL net profit in hockey over at Wager Talk. And great card. I've got 2 plays up right now for clients. I'll be doing a little bit more. If I do put anything up in baseball, it's probably going to be the over in that Seattle-Toronto game. So save yourself some money. You don't need to buy that from me. And if you are interested in it, the 5%'s there in hockey. Also, we talked a little bit about college football. They do have that Weekend Warriors package. Last weekend was very successful for me. I'm on an 11-3 run in college football. So once they put that up, you can get a nice savings on the weekend if they do that again this week. It's early. I don't know what their promotions are, but keep in mind that they always try to do something for the weekend for football fans.
I have a couple of Major League Baseball plays up today, and I have a Euro League play up. Wager Talk allows us to price our Major League Baseball plays at $9 aside from any 5% plays. 5% plays are regular price, but you can get a 4% play if one of us puts it out for $9. That's normally $25. So just take a look at our page at wagertalk.com, and we usually put free plays out too. So click the free plays link at wagertalk.com and you can see 20 cappers, free plays all. Free play bonanza. Originally, I wanted to name this show Baseball Bonanza, but Adam came up with the name Total Bases. So Total Bases it was.
It's less of a mouthful. Not that.
I like the word bonanza. I don't know why. I just like it.
My selection was, why the hell am I doing this at 6 o'clock in the morning?
When I was in America, I felt that way too.
Yeah, it's earlier for you guys. I 9 a.m. Eastern is like the perfect time for this show. I'd probably have a hard time if I was doing this on Vegas time as well. That's tough. I always, anytime I'm out visiting out there, it always messes me up being that early. Book of Chew in the chat. He does a lot of streaming. Appreciate him stopping by. And if again, I don't have a play up yet for tonight. I will say this: I cashed my 5% play yesterday with the Arizona Cardinals in the NFL. I'm on a really good NFL run, and with 2 NFL games tonight, I may run it back with another 5%er. So keep an eye out on that. I don't know if I think if I have any MLB action tonight, I'll probably just post it on my page for free. So make sure that you are always checking the Wager Talk website. We have a free picks tab that lists everyone that puts a free pick up. It's right there, all in order. We try to do it as many times a week as possible. So check out the free picks tab at Wager Talk. And if you are in the area, if you are in any sort of proximity to Central New York, we got a great watch party at Turning Stone Resort Casino tonight, Verona, New York. Very easy to get to. We're in the middle of nowhere out here, so there's plenty of parking. It's really, it's not in a city or anything. It's easy in, easy out. Bunch of places to stay. But I'll be down here tonight from probably the start of the Jays game till the end of the football game. So pretty much all night. I'll buy you a drink. They have some great specials, and we're just going to be hanging out. So I know we have some guys in the chat that are in Central New York. You know what? Actually, we have a bunch of guys that watch the show that are from Canada, and a bunch of them came down when we did one during March Madness. So that's a great way to spend your Canadian Thanksgiving. Come on down here, watch the Bills. Was here for the Yankees watch party last week. It was great. But Central New York is very much Bills Mafia country. So we'll have a great crowd in attendance tonight. And happy. Do people does Prez say happy Thanksgiving to people and then cook a turkey? Is that not how it goes? I need to know this. We need to ask Carmine, Prez, are they having turkey and stuffing and stuff today? I know there's a CFL football game on at 1, so they do the football thing as well. Hockey all day. I got to ask.
They probably drink maple syrup and have some Moosehead beer and watch hockey or something.
We'll check in with
you're going to be on the most wanted list when you go to Canada next time.
We got quite a few people at Wager Talk that are from Canada, so we'll need to get. I'll need to get. We got to ask Prez and Andrew and Carmine how they spend Canadian Thanksgiving, which I'm sure will be watching hockey. So if you're going to watch hockey all day, check out Bryan Leonard's 5% play. He's been tearing it up.
Absolutely. Bryan doesn't put out a lot of 5%ers, and when he does, he usually wins them. Can I mention one thing that Ralph put in our post board here? He said that home favorites off a loss since 2016 are 20-26 in game 2 with an average line of -142. So home favorites, after losing game 1, they generally will lose game 2 if they're favored in game 2 too. That's not good news for the Toronto Blue Jays. Anyways, that's just a stat.
Those are mostly American stats, though, right?
Yeah. Canadians, they do it.
I want to know. Yeah, they have Canadian teams in this far in the playoffs have not lost in how many years now?
They drink maple syrup and they do it by the metric system.
The world does it by the metric system. It's the United States that screwed it all up.
I learned the metric system living out here.
they taught us the metric system 1 year back when I was in school, and that was it.
I think it was 79. I was there.
It's too hard. It goes on basis of 10.
Yeah. We'd rather do ounces and liters or whatever they do.
Ethan Bainbridge says, flying into New York City, it's his first time in New York. Where I am in New York could not be more different. It is like a different country here than New York City. To get to here from New York City, you'd have to hop another flight and come to Syracuse. But it is we're out in the country. Central New York is very rural. So that is very, but enjoy New York City because that is an experience. I can't imagine. I've been so many times at this point. I can't imagine going for the first time, but it's got to be that'll be a shock in a good way. It's a very cool city. TS Fox says New York City is another world. That is very, very true. Anyone have any more closing thoughts? We've done our promos. We've broke down both games as thoroughly as we possibly can. Anything else from either of you two?
I'm not bashing Canada, you guys. I love Canada. I've never been there, but everyone from Canada is much nicer than everyone from America, from my experience. So
except for Chris.
That's
the lone Canadian. I hope he's banned from the United States so Canada can keep him. That makes me a favorite of Canada right there, just for keeping the Prez out of the state.
I think Carmine's kindness trumps Prez's awkwardness.
And Andrew's kind also.
Andrew too. Not Trump. Prez is actually a nice guy, but he doesn't want people to know it.
Oh, he's the best. I was supposed to go to a Grateful Dead concert with him, and it got canceled. But he was still in Saratoga Springs, and me, Mallory, Prez, and Vivian went out for the night. Had an absolute blast. He's a great time. So shout out to Prez. But I do want to hit the Canadians up and see. I'm curious if their Thanksgiving is like ours. So we'll have to. Good topic for End Zone Live this week. Hey, Prez, how was Canadian Thanksgiving? Since we have 4 hours to fill while we watch football games, maybe we'll ask him on that show.
Basically, 4 hours of Prez complaining about his bets.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, his bad beats. The 60-year-old guy complaining about his bad beats.
Watching TV, he's looking to the side. Oh, can
He
you
is
not catch
lit.
that?
He has been lighting it up on that show with in-game bets. Shout out to
Really?
his in-game bets on that show have got to be hitting at like a 70% clip.
Do people watch
That's
it?
one thing. If you turn on it, we do a football stream on Sundays. It's called End Zone Live. Give out a lot of in-play stuff. Prez has been deadly on that show with his in-play NFL bets. So promo for End Zone Live. That's every Sunday on Wager Talk TV at 1:00. We're gonna wrap it up. We've got 2 baseball games tonight. We will be back tomorrow morning to talk Brewers Dodgers Game 2. If you can make it to Central New York, come hang with me tonight at Turning Stone Resort Casino. The sports book is called New York Rec and Social Club. That's where we'll be for the Bills game and the baseball games. Thank you guys to all you who continue to tune into this show as we get to the end of the season. It has far exceeded our expectations. We very much appreciate it. Like, subscribe, drop a comment if you're on the replay. It helps the show tremendously. And we'll see you guys in the morning tomorrow, 9 a.m. for more Total Bases. Have a great day, everyone.